Hey everybody, welcome back. To those of you new to the channel, I want to extend a welcome to you. Those of you returning, it's good to see all of you again as well. I'm going to start today with a question. How many of you feel that there is a growing movement of people opting out of society? The benefits do not outweigh the risks anymore. That the individual is not being rewarded, especially when it comes to men in particular, as father figures, as people that carry a certain role in society. But for many of us, we feel like we have been thrown overboard and don't want to contribute to essentially our own destruction. How many of you feel this way? I have been noticing for a number of years a growing movement of people that have noticed everything from, the inability to change the government, to change policies, the inability to find gainful employment to where they can stabilize their lives the way that parents, grandparents did. And this is not a selfish thing. I've noticed that the pushback on this is about, well, if you aren't okay with that and aren't okay with suffering this, somehow something is wrong with you and you're selfish, because how dare you expect what previous generations got? How dare you expect to change it for the better? You should just simply accept the way that it is and serve and take a hit and a loss, just to say somehow that that's like a bragging point or a flex, when the reality is it's just another foot on your throat. It's just another hand pushing your head under the water and trying to tell you that somehow this is right, somehow this is serving. And we're not talking about pursuit of freedom to the point of hedonistic ridiculousness. We're talking about people simply wanting to have a stable life. This is why nobody is starting families anymore, because they can't. Society has created a divide between men and women where there is no trust, there's hooking up, sex is a meaningless thing. Nobody's able to trust or build anything together with anybody else as far as a relationship anymore. And because of that, family units are not forming, because it is simply not a smart environment to form a family unit, especially for the men. They don't want to be involved in a situation where promiscuity is pushed so heavily that it's going to end in divorce, because people are addicted to acting that way. They don't want to have children. Most men and women don't want to. If you're doing any research like I am, most men and women don't want to have children simply because it is way too expensive even for them to live, and they can't find gainful employment. They can't find stability, so they don't want to risk bringing children in, getting married, attempting to do a traditional family unit, just to have it all ripped away from them without their consent, and then funded and subsidized by the government in the destruction of it. So I feel that there is a movement of people breaking away from this and saying, we choose ourselves. We choose our own lives, and we're not worried about attempting to give back to society when society has thrown us overboard. Society is not incentivizing us, and all relationships, be it between a government and individuals, be it in a marriage, be it everything, must have give and take. You must provide quality and value in what you're offering to make demands. Any relationship that is set up entirely around all demands from one side, and the other side needs to be, somehow demonstrating good character by just allowing themselves to be completely run over, that is not a relationship. That is misuse. That is manipulation. Every relationship on this face of this earth requires that. And many of us have now joined, whether we know it or not, a movement to leave that behind, to choose ourselves. That can almost sound selfish in a way, but in a way, it's actually what we need, because the only genuine thing out there now is this choice. This is the conversation to be had. This is the only genuine topic to really discuss. And the other side has nothing genuine to it at all. How many of you noticed that? Because I've certainly noticed it. The other side has nothing genuine to offer. It's all fake platitudes. It's virtue signaling. It's manipulation. It's we're in the right and you have to completely agree with us or you're completely in the wrong and we'll cancel you. And you have to understand something. I'm politically completely disconnected from anything with politics. I don't trust anything on the stage that we get presented. I prefer to do my own looking into it and my own research, because I'm not being paid to have an opinion or avoid certain topics or subjects. I get to say what I want and tell the truth about it. And what I see is Americans, other people in Western countries, trying to meet each other face to face and have conversations. I've met people from many different political viewpoints, and the funny thing is, when I sit and have a genuine, honest conversation with them, you'd be surprised how you can get past any barriers or hurdles, and logic and reason begins to take hold again, and they stop taking sides with what they were told to believe, and are now having realistic conversation where you begin to think, if enough of us in this area got together and did this, we would actually begin to build a society that is based in reason, that would allow people to thrive and grow, and not based in absolute insanity and madness and divisiveness being pushed at us by the mainstream media in particular, which is just a propaganda machine. I mean, when it comes down to it, anybody that gets to a point where they have any self-reflection or honesty realizes mainstream media is all propaganda. I've met enough people from other countries that take a look at this and they're like, you Americans do realize that that's just a propaganda machine. That is not where you should be getting your information. They will never, ever disclose anything that's going to undermine their foothold in power. They will never do that, which means they can't be trusted. And logic and reason dictates that we know that they can't be trusted. So the question then comes, what type of legacy are we looking to leave? Because the choice of legacy completely changes when you decide, I'm opting out. I'm done. The way I view it, and I'm curious as to how many of you feel about this as well, but the way that I view it is the legacy that you want to leave is one where you're inspiring people to question all of this, to not believe anything that comes through on the news, seriously become skeptical, become someone who really, really has a mindset that's independent of everything, because you must have that. That is the only healthy way to move forward. That's really the only healthy way to save our society, because we are being pushed into arguments and fights that we should never have been in. Disagreements and divisions that should never have happened. I feel like the legacy that we should look to leave is not one of bending to anything in society where they're basically preaching a traditional role, but it has been corrupted to serve another purpose, and the respect and reward that should be coming back to you has now been completely stripped away. And as far as men's roles are concerned, we have been reduced to a punchline. Watch any commercial, watch any TV show, take a look at the father, the dad, the men's roles, and every single thing about them is that they're somehow inept, stupid, incapable of doing anything, to the point to where it is being so heavily pushed out there that people actually walk around thinking that that is what men are like, which is the type of work that I do, the contractors that I run into, the people that I run into. Men are out there doing absolutely incredible things to keep our society and our infrastructure afloat. every single day. If the men were gone, things would collapse within 6 months to a year. That's just the cold, hard truth. And this is not in any way something spoken against women. Men and women are different, and that's a great thing. I heard a comedian once say, the great thing about women is that they're not a dude. Nobody that is a man wants to date somebody that is emulating male characteristics. Women have incredible things to bring. Men have incredible things to bring. We're different, and that's the reason why the things that we bring make society work the way that it does. We are being preached an entirely different message than that today. One that's designed to divide us rather than allow us to use critical thinking and independent thought to realize we actually can come together. We can come together and make things work, but it cannot be the way that things are working right now, which is essentially not working at all. So how many of you feel like you've woken up to this reality and you're not woke anymore, but you've woken up to the reality of you don't want to be programmed. You want to think for yourself. You want to have critical thinking, independent thought, and you've left society behind and chosen yourself because society threw you overboard. This has nothing to do with feeling sorry for yourself. You have to remember, with every single change that happens in life, you have to be able to identify what the problem is, usually verbalize it, make it very clear publicly, openly, even to yourself, so that you can begin to affect change, because you can't change a problem that you can't even identify the root cause of. So I'm not going to go too much further really here. I'm just going to go ahead and leave it right there. But as I said before, I am curious to hear your thoughts. And before I head out, make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. All of this helps the algorithm. And I look forward to talking to you all again soon.